Hi everyone, just want to talk about our electric kits, where we are with them in 2024 and how we've developed them along the way in the last 6-7 years. So questions. What is an electric kit? It's an engine replacement. It's a modernization of your classic scooter, your love and joy, your pride and joy. It swaps out the old two-stroke motor for one of these here electric engines here. So the electric engine is a hub motor. Most efficient way to do an electric conversion is a hub motor. These are 4 kilowatt hub motors, and they are held in the chassis of our beloved classic scooters, Lambretta and Vespas, with these swinging arms. How do we mount the swinging arms into the frames? They are using the original engine bolt holes in the swinging arms. So you're just swapping like for like. You use the old engine bolt and the old suspension bolt, rear suspension bolt, and that they're just bolts straight in to the old frames. The electric kit, what powers it is our batteries. Our lithium ion batteries are 72 volt. Now this is the highest voltage battery that you could possibly get in a small scooter or a motorcycle, and we do like to use that. They're a lot of fun. This is where the main power is. Now that runs through the control box, the brains of the bike. That has its controller, solenoid, DC-DC converter for the high voltage down to the 12 volt for the lighting. And that then is simply plugged into our hub motor, and it tells it to move with TPS, which is a throttle activator, which is still activated by our throttle cables. Here at Retrospective Scooters, we have made these kits fit basically all of the 6 categories of classic Vespas and Lambrettas, so 3 of each. Vespa have really 3 variants on their models. So you have the large frame Vespas. Now they were made from 1958 through to 2018, the very last PXs. That is a large frame Vespa. The dimensions of that engine block are all the same, right from 1958 through to 2018. So our swinging arms will fit the hub motors in all of those frames throughout that range. There's also the small frame Vespa, which was released in 1963. It ran through to 1983. Got our swinging arm and holds a hub motor, same hub motor throughout in the small frame Vespa. And the other Vespa was the wide mount Vespa, the very early 50s models. So 1952 to 1962, the last of them was a GS 150. And that had, as you can see here, this is one, a wider mounting swinging arm. So that is the adapter for that era. In the land of Lambrettas, you have more or less the sort of 3 same sort of categories. What I call a large frame Lambretta is your ALI series 1, 2, 3s, TVs, SX, all the way through to GPs. And that runs on through to Servettas and even Indian GPs. They're all the same. That's a large frame Lambretta kit, that swinging arm. You also have a small frame Lambretta, which is like the J range. Different setup on the engine mounting again. And our 50s Lambrettas, which is the D LD models, which were 1952 all the way through to the end of the 50s and even into the early 60s on some of the variants that came from South America, Spain and France. So that is the 3 Lambrettas, and altogether that's 6 variants on our classic scooters that our electric kits fit. Does our electric kit installation do any damage to the framework? No. This is very important to us. We're all classic enthusiasts here. We love our classic Vespas, and from the off, I really wanted to not do any frame damage to our classic scooters. So these are a simple bolt-in, plug-and-play kit. They really do just bolt into the existing mounting points on the engine bolt and the rear suspension, and everything just is plug and play. There is no damage done to the original chassis. And of course, our kits are reversible. If you wish to return it to its 2-stroke engine, if you kept the old 2-stroke engine, you can just remove this kit, put it in another model, the same model, and revert that vehicle back to its two-stroke motor. Why have we gone to 10-inch wheels? 10-inch wheels is the size of most of the classic scooters were. So 10-inch wheels throughout all the Lambretta and Vespa range, except certain models in the 50s, certainly, and the early 60s, were 8-inch wheels. Now, I've done an adaptation for that as well. So a hub motor can use a 300 by 10 tire on it, which is the same diameter as 400 by 8 tire. So that way it can drop down to the size of an 8-inch wheel. On models like in the Lambretta, it's the LD and the D models, and on Vespa, it's all of those 50s wide mount models. So, and Sportiques as well, VBBs, I should say, from the early 60s. So they can be adapted to take our electric engines as well. So we're always asked, how do we charge our batteries? The batteries on scooters, electric scooters, most of them, all of them really, is simply a normal household socket. In the UK, it's the 3-pin socket. In the US, the 2-pin socket. Around the world, it is just simply your household socket. And that's where these are charged. They can be charged on board, but they are removable. You can take our batteries from the vehicle indoors and charge them indoors with your charger. The charger can also be carried on our bikes. All our bikes have the facility to carry the charger with them everywhere you go, and you can charge it on the bike as you go. On our kits, about installation, we have videos on our YouTube channel which are for each of the models and help you install a step-by-step instructions. Now, the instructions are more or less pretty much all the same sort of process, because the kits are all 4 kilowatt with a swinging arm that mounts in the same anchor points as the old chassis. You have your control box, which then plugs into the old wiring harness, and then your battery traces, all pretty much, but in different areas of different models, pretty much the same process. But we've got help online with the YouTube videos, and of course we are always on the end of a video call when you get your kit and you need to ask any questions about anything particular. We can jump on video calls with people and help them with installation. And yeah, it's an easy installation, and we're here to help. With the changeover on these electric conversion kits, the weight is actually the same that you've taken out with the old 2-stroke engine. So this swinging arm and hub motor combined with the batteries is actually the same sort of setup and weight that the old engine and petrol tank was. So it's basically a like-for-like changeover. There is no real difference in weight. The structure of our kit, namely these swinging arms that hold the electric hub motors into the frames. Now, first of all, I'll talk about the braking system. This is our master cylinder here mounted on our swing arms, and it's still cable operated, so it's a semi-hydraulic system. Now that there pulls the master cylinder that then has its brake cable going around to the caliper on the rear here. So that is a very simple, all set up on the swinging arm, set up for the brakes, and it's still cable operated, so you're still connecting the original brake cable to that master cylinder. About the actual structure of the swinging arms, we are using mild steel. As you can see, here is one for a large frame Vespa, and this is 8 mil thick. The Lambretta and the wide mount ones are actually 10 mil thick steel. Basically, they're very strong structure, nice and light as well, and they're powder coated and all welded up nice and solid. And when you put the axle of the hub motor in it, it's a really strong setup that'll last many, many years. You can re-powder coat it if down the years it gets a bit, used up and that, but a very strong structure and solid in the bike. With our original, I like to use original swinging arm mounts here for the Lambretta, Vespas. They also have rubber mounts as well, and it's more or less a like-for-like replacement on the old engine that they replaced.